When revenue crosses the $100 million mark, every strategic move is no longer a choice. It becomes a matter of survival. The risk no longer lies in the market, but within the organization itself. Fragmented vision, overlapping priorities, critical decisions delayed due to lack of alignment. Every month without clear direction is millions of dollars in lost opportunity. In a rapidly accelerating environment, any organization unable to restructure its leadership mindset and strategic processes will be left behind. This happens silently until it's too late. So how do we build a strategic plan that is not only sharp on paper, but also resilient in execution? Here is the detailed roadmap. Part 1. Building the foundation before planning. Establishing a strategic thinking structure. A strong strategic plan doesn't begin with pen and paper. It begins with a mindset shift, a bold decision that the business cannot grow while still planning in the dark. It cannot scale if it still thinks small. It cannot accelerate if the team is not aligned strategically. The first step is to create a thinking space, where every direction is illuminated by honesty, commitment, and radical transparency. Not meetings for the sake of it, but meetings that yield weighty decisions. Once the thinking structure is clear, the first question isn't, what do we need to do, but who are we doing strategy for? If the audience is the executive team, keep it lean and sharp. If it includes middle managers or strategic partners, clarify everyone's role in the strategic picture. Participation isn't just about listening, but co-creation. And to co-create, people must enter the room with a proactive mindset, not a passive one. Effective strategy cannot arise from one-sided input. To make the plan dynamic, data must be gathered from multiple directions. This means surveying, interviewing, or sensing stakeholders' insights before the session. On-the-ground insights are often strategic goldmines. Ignoring them renders the plan a product of imagination. Including them transforms it into a living response to reality, guiding the organization into the future. No longer prediction, but proactive direction. After defining the audience and gathering data, it's time to ask the core question. What do we want to achieve from this strategy session? Without this question, the session will descend into endless debate. But when everyone comes in with a clear image of the end goal, voices converge at a focal point. This is where individual goals turn into shared vision. And when that happens, nothing can stop an organization from tripling or quintupling its growth within 3 years. Affirm one critical truth. Preparing for strategy is an act of leadership. Those who prepare well dictate the pace of decisions. Those who enter unprepared will be led. In strategy, being led is failure at the starting line. Therefore, investing in preparation is not a cost. It is the highest yielding investment for alignment, effectiveness, and speed across the entire strategic chain. Part 2. Designing the strategy session, a 3-day transformation structure. A strategy session is not a place to just talk things through. It is a space for critical decision-making. And if an organization is truly serious about scaling, this session must be designed as a tool to decode acceleration. The 3-day structure is no coincidence. It's based on psychological logic, performance, and cognitive absorption of leadership teams. 3 days, not more, not less, is enough time to dismantle the old, build the new, and commit to action with extreme discipline. Day 1 is about untangling the current state. The team sits down to dissect SWOT, but not in a superficial listing manner. SWOT here is a vital positioning tool. What are the leverage points, hidden risks, and opportunities that must be unlocked fast? Then comes trend analysis. Not to discuss markets, but to steer thinking. We are planning for the next 3 years, not the past 3. Future-oriented thinking is the first step toward leadership thinking. Day 2 shifts the mental space to strategic action. 3 key questions are asked. What is the biggest barrier? What are the essential priorities? And what must be stopped immediately? From there, the organization retains only 3 core strategic priorities. Why not 5 or 7? Because resources are limited. Strategy is the art of saying no to what doesn't build sustainable competitive advantage. 3 priorities, but with impact broad enough to influence the entire growth model. Day 3 brings everything into implementation. Priorities must turn into actions. Projects, deadlines, owners, resources. Each action piece is examined under a microscope. Does it align with the objective? Is it measurable? Is there agreement? Thus, what emerges is not just an action plan, but a living operating strategy. And when everyone walks out with personal commitment to the the organization's goals, strategy has transformed into culture. The 3-day wrap-up is not just a timeline, but a roadmap. A clear roadmap that helps the organization escape operational chaos and enter a state of sharp focus. When the organization knows exactly what it's doing, why, and for what outcome, all resources converge in one direction. This is not a meeting. It is an act of reshaping the organization in 3 days. Part 3. Solving the multiple destinations trap. Defining a single direction. Nothing drags down a high-performing organization faster than not looking in the same direction. When each department holds a different image of success, they act according to different standards. This leads to silent clashes, coordination breakdowns, and resource overlap. The multiple destinations trap doesn't kill the strategy instantly, but it corrodes it from within. The danger lies in everyone believing they're on the right path, but in reality, the organization is standing still. To escape this trap, the organization must establish a single destination. Not a slogan on the wall, but a specific, shared image of the future. This doesn't arise from commands, but from deep strategic dialogue. Every participant must answer, if success is a place, what does it look like? When all describe the same destination, the strategic operating system activates. Alignment is the force of breakthrough. A singular vision doesn't just provide direction, it enables faster decision-making. When a proposal is on the table, there's no need for hours of debate. Simply ask, does this bring us closer to our destination? If yes, proceed. If not, discard. This prevents emotional, wasteful, and misaligned decisions. A clear destination doesn't restrict creativity. It unlocks focus, a rare strategic asset during scale-up. An organization can only grow rapidly when there is convergence of thinking, priorities, and action. That's when every decision from department level to CEO reinforces, not cancels each other out. A common destination is the foundation of speed, discipline, and organizational strength. Without it, strategy is just scattered nice words. With it, every action contributes to a greater journey, and that is how sustainable growth is built. Part 4. Linking strategy, action, measurement. Strategy does not derive its strength from lofty visions, but from its ability to translate into specific daily actions. An organization may declare ambitious goals, but without a clear path to turn those goals into work, everything remains mere ambition. The link between strategy and action is the backbone of every growth model. If this spine is misaligned, the organization will stumble. If it's solid, all teams can move in sync. This linkage starts with strategic priorities. From the 3 key focuses, the organization must break them down into qualitative objectives. Each objective must answer, what qualitative change do we need to achieve? But don't stop at intuition. Strong strategy demands a measurable system, transforming objectives into goals. A good goal is always defined in the format, from X to Y by Z date. Without measurable milestones, the team will lose its way midway. Setting measurable goals isn't just for reporting. It drives action, fosters commitment, and forms the foundation of accountability. A team that doesn't know how far they've progressed will quickly become either discouraged or complacent. But when everyone sees the numbers move, they keep pushing forward. Good strategy is always measurable, qualitative for meaning, quantitative for action. Both together build a results-driven culture, not a feeling-driven one. The key lies in continuous alignment. Actions must support goals. Goals must serve objectives. Objectives must align with priorities. Priorities must address risks, and risks must be part of the roadmap to achieve the vision. When this system is intact, the organization no longer suffers from priority chaos. Every action has a reason. Every reason is embedded in strategy. And when strategy guides even the smallest action, growth is no longer a dream. It becomes inevitable. Part 5. Building an execution environment. Culture, behavior, structure. Strategy doesn't live in documents. Strategy lives in the everyday work environment. No matter how perfect the plan is, it will fail if the organization lacks the right structure, culture, and behaviors to execute it. Many businesses fall into the trap of beautiful plan, poor results, because they neglect this foundational layer. The execution environment is where strategy meets people. If it supports, strategy thrives. If it obstructs, every commitment will dissolve. The execution environment starts with behavior. Not just values posted on the wall, but the way people interact, make decisions, and collaborate every day. If the strategy demands speed, but the culture promotes delay and caution, the organization pulls its own brakes. If innovation is required, but behavior favors safety, innovation will never come. For For strategy to go far, culture must be rebuilt to match. Culture is not a goal, it is the operating system of execution. Next is organizational structure. As a business grows, roles and responsibilities evolve. But in reality, few organizations update job descriptions, expectations, or authority in a timely manner. The result is confusion, overlap, and blame. Strategy cannot be executed if people don't know what they're doing, why, and with whom. Clarifying structure and assigning the right roles is how we reboot the operating system to match the new strategy. Without clear roles, there will be no clear accountability. Finally, communication rhythm. Without effective communication cadence, strategy will fall apart piece by piece. We must create strategic pit stops, moments where people reflect, adjust, and recharge. When the organization maintains quality meetings, transparent dashboards, and coherent communication flows, strategy becomes truly alive. And only when the environment is designed to nourish action can strategy transform into real results. Part 6, Managing Leadership Time, the 5% Rule. No strategy is strong enough if leaders don't devote time to it. The reality is that many organizations fail not due to lack of plans, but because leaders are too busy to care about them. The paradox is, the more we grow, the more leaders get sucked into operations. But what the business needs is not them running things, but leading the way. The 5% rule emerges from this need. At least 5% of a leader's weekly time must be devoted to strategy. 5% isn't a big number, but it's a big commitment. It equals 2 hours per week, enough to review objectives, resolve bottlenecks, adjust direction, and inspire the team. If leadership doesn't prioritize strategy, no one else will. When the head plays the role of protector and driver of strategy, the entire system learns to follow. If not, strategy gets forgotten after the meeting, replaced by the swirl of daily operations. Time management for strategy isn't just about scheduling meetings, it's a leadership statement. When leaders say, "I will dedicate time to strategy," they're setting the organization's priorities. Without this commitment, strategy remains an ideal that floats above. With it, it becomes a driving force. Leaders must dare to dedicate time to what's important, not what's urgent, because only the important things bring true breakthroughs. Part 7. Do not avoid conflict. Dialogue to decide. Strategy doesn't die from lack of ideas. It dies from postponed conversations. In any fast-growing organization, conflicts over direction, resources, and decision rights are inevitable. But most failures don't stem from conflict itself. They stem from leaders choosing to avoid it. An unresolved issue lingers in the organization like an anchor slowing down a high-speed train. Avoiding confrontation is rejecting growth. Remaining silent buries transformation opportunities. A strategically mature organization doesn't fear friction. On the contrary, they create space for controlled intellectual collisions. They understand that behind every conflict is a strategic question that needs an answer. Every disagreement holds a deeper issue that, when unpacked, leads to breakthroughs. But to do this, meetings must be designed as true decision-making spaces, not just for discussion, not just feedback, but for conclusion, commitment, action. When a culture of speaking up, deciding, and correcting is established, the organization overcomes the biggest psychological barrier: silence. Silence signals broken trust. Dialogue signals high expectations. To triple growth, an organization must double the number of quality dialogues. Every brave conversation is a step toward the future. Because where clear decisions are made, strategy truly starts to move. Part 8. Implementing the loop, leveraging fast feedback. Strategy doesn't end after the session, it only begins. Execution is not a straight line, but a loop. Action, feedback, adjustment, acceleration. A growth-oriented organization doesn't wait for perfection to implement. They deploy early, measure constantly, learn from deviations, and upgrade over time. The 90-day cycle, where objectives are reviewed, progress checked, and priorities finalized, is the tool that keeps strategy alive, moving, and rooted in market reality. Feedback isn't just a fix mechanism. It's an acceleration system. Timely feedback helps the organization pivot early, optimize resources, and unlock new leverage. Small successes, when recognized in time, become powerful momentum. When the organization commits to action, and every action is tied to learning, strategy is no longer a static plan. It becomes a living organism, adaptive, evolving, and breakthrough capable. And that is the foundation of sustainable growth. Strategy is not for organizations afraid of change. It demands facing the things no one dares to say. Daring to pause and reorient, daring to debate to the end, daring to eliminate the familiar. That is the true courage of growth. Not every meeting creates value, but one right meeting can change an organization's destiny. The greatest cost is not in money, but in continuing to operate with systemic misalignment. Without a clear roadmap, all efforts are just collisions in the dark. Strategy is not an option. It is a condition for survival. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.